He accompanied his mother to meet Cizio, the mafia boss who had brutally murdered his father and 14-year-old brother. Cizio sat casually in his courtyard, surprised this woman would dare come to him. His mother stepped forward, begging for him to spare her last remaining child. The boy remained silent, his eyes fixed intensely on the old man before him. The mafia was known for its ruthlessness, never leaving witnesses alive. The boy watched helplessly as his mother died before him, forcing him to turn and run for his life. Now an orphan, Cizio wasn't finished. His men spread word throughout the village, warning residents against sheltering the boy. Yet kind souls hid him in hay bales, and under cover of dawn, secretly helped him escape the village. The boy's name was Vito Andolini, but history would remember him by another name. Fast forward to 1917, 25-year-old Vito had settled in New York, married with a child. Though poor, the family of 3 lived happily. Vito cradled his infant son Sonny, his eyes full of adoration. Like in his childhood, Vito kept his hat brim low and remained a man of few words. His friend Jack, smitten with the theater owner's daughter, brought Vito along to catch a glimpse of her. As they watched intently, a figure suddenly rose from the audience. As the man turned, Jack's face went pale. He told Vito this was Fanucci, a dangerous man they couldn't cross. After the girl's performance, Jack and Vito went backstage hoping to talk to her, only to witness Fanucci extorting protection money from the owner. During the negotiation, the owner's daughter happened to pass by. Fanucci grabbed her, tracing his knife across her face. The owner, helpless, handed over all his money. The righteous Vito wanted to intervene, but cautious Jack, fearing trouble, urged him to leave this dangerous situation. Outside the theater, Jack explained that Fanucci was the local Black Hand leader, collecting protection money from all neighborhood businesses. But Vito was puzzled. Having seen real mafia, Fanucci seemed like mere street muscle to him. Days later, Fanucci visited the grocery store, leaving satisfied after talking with the owner. Jack's father told Vito that Fanucci wanted his nephew employed there, but with sufficient staff already, they had to let Vito go to make room. Vito didn't blame the owner, instead offering comfort and expressing gratitude. Previous conversations with his wife revealed the owner hadn't treated him well, yet Vito held no grudge, voluntarily leaving the store. The guilty owner chased after Vito, offering food as compensation, but Vito declined with a smile. Despite losing his job, Vito remained optimistic, even bringing his wife a pear. From then on, he regularly bought her fruit. Though poor, their marriage was harmonious. The next day, Vito met his neighbor who had asked him to hide guns, a chubby man named Clemenza. After confirming the items were safe at Vito's, Clemenza offered an expensive rug in thanks. After coffee, they went to collect the rug, arriving at an upscale residence. Clemenza claimed it was his friend's home, but after knocking and finding no one home and no key left behind, he pulled out tools and began picking the lock. Vito gradually understood the situation. This was clearly a wealthy household. Both men now knew the score. Clemenza skillfully rolled up the rug, while Vito stood awkwardly aside. Suddenly, a knock at the door. A passing patrol officer peered inside. Vito remained still and silent, while Clemenza hid behind the door, gun drawn. If the officer entered, there could only be one outcome. America was in a chaotic era, violence and crime spreading through every corner of the city, becoming the only shortcut to wealth for poor immigrants. For the first time, Vito felt the impact in his core, as the gears of fate began to turn silently.